Hi, this is going to be somewhat of a follow-up to a video that I made, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where I talked about romance in tabletop role-playing games, that is, but within the fictional environment. But now I want to address some potential problems when it comes to romance at the table, romance at the gaming table between players. Putting aside people that are a bit obsessive with their relationships, that is, perhaps you're playing with a guy or a girl and they have their boyfriend or girlfriend and they're constantly texting each other during the game. Now, those players, first of all, in the social contract in session 0, you must clear those things out. You must specify that you're not going to be using cell phones at the gaming table or whatever. It all depends on your group, on how you handle things. But putting aside those situations, there could be moments when you are playing a tabletop role playing game and romance starts to bloom between the players. My recommendation is that you should prepare yourself as a game master and even as players, prepare yourselves because it's possible that those two people, or maybe, I don't know, hopefully you won't have multiple romances, but it's possible that those two people that are flirting and whatnot, they may end up abandoning the campaign. Sadly enough, there are some people that just go into tabletop role-playing games with the sole excuse of meeting people. In the video where I talk about mediocre players, I talk about how there are some people that just play tabletop role-playing games because nobody can stand them in any other situation. So because usually some game masters and groups are desperate for players, they are willing to take almost anyone. Be quite strict when it comes to selecting your players. It is vital for your enjoyment. And for the enjoyment of everybody, of course, at the table. So, when it comes to, yes, like romance blooming, can romance bloom in the battlefield, in the gaming table? When it actually happens, get ready because those couple of lovebirds, they may end up abandoning the game. And why is this? Like I said, it could be that they just got into the game to meet people, and once they find their boyfriend or girlfriend, they decide they are no longer interested in playing tabletop role-playing games, and they leave the campaign. But what if they want to keep on playing, but their flirting constantly gets in the way? Suddenly, their player characters are too friendly with each other, even though it makes no sense with the story. Either in a romantic or platonic or friendship way, they start to become too friendly, but like I said, it doesn't make sense. It's great when it's logical that the characters are working together and it makes sense with the background, the psychology and the emotions of the player characters, or when the group simply wants to survive the adventure. But when they start to, their love in real life starts to flow into the game, it could be nonsensical. Maybe the game master or the players may not like that and they may end up kicking them out of the group. Sometimes some groups don't mind that, but as they flirt and perhaps as they start a relationship in real life, the lovebirds could end up having some quarrels and fights, and that always ends up affecting the game. There are some people that are in great control of their emotions and hormones, and they roleplay their characters even though there are tensions or quarrels between them in real life, but in most cases they disrupt gameplay. So usually you end up kicking out those players. And like I said, it could be the other way around. Maybe they are just so in love that they are extremely lovey-dovey within the game. It depends on your tolerance. If you like it, go ahead. Or that is, if you don't mind them flirting in character, maybe you think it actually spices things up, keep them. That's great. But sometimes also in their flirting attempts, and this actually happened in one of my games. I told you about this I don't remember the couple of videos where I mentioned this, but there was this woman. She was a doctor, but she was trying to catch the attention of a guy at the table, and she was constantly moving the miniatures around in disruptive ways. We were playing Pathfinder, and she, just like I said, kept moving the fig miniatures, and even though I kept telling her, stop doing that, because I have trouble ascertaining the area of effects, the applying the templates, the attacks of opportunity, and she kept on doing it. But because she was such a good role player, aside from that, she was a really good role player, and she was only visiting for a few weeks. I let it slide the entire time. I just kept on. I had to memorize the position of the miniatures, and I had to like put them back into place. I got used to it. That she was a bit, yes, it was pretty quirky to say the least. And I also thought it was a waste of time because she didn't like attract the attention of her crush. So it's all about the situation, but in general, as general tips or advice, get ready to kick out or handle the campaign without those players. But I do think that there is an exception to this. If you play with a married couple, maybe you have known them for a while and they have been married for a few years, or maybe you have this couple of people that are in a relationship and they have spent a few months perhaps together. I think it is pretty viable to have them at the table because they are already, their passion has already calmed down a bit. They are not constantly thinking about flirting with each other. They have explored each other physically, mentally, and emotionally, spiritually. And they already know their, how would you say, what ticks them off. When it comes to arguments, they have already experienced arguments, quarrels, fights. So you are certain that because they have been in a relationship for such a long time, or they have been married for so long, you know that they are already in control of their emotions within that relationship context. They won't disrupt gameplay. At least that's my take on things. I would love to know your own thoughts on these situations. Have you experienced some disruptive couples in your game? Do you play games with couples that know how to handle themselves at the table or behave themselves? Let me know in the comments section. Once again, thank you for watching my videos and thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any other questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.